One other area that I think we share that is important to us, obviously Burlington and my riding is on Lake Ontario, so it's a waterfront riding. Parts of your riding take in the bay as part of the issue, especially on the Dundas side. What do you see happening, or what are the issues with the Hamilton Port Authority, and where do you see that happening, and how do you think we should interact, or how do we interact on those types of issues?
Well, you remember you and I had a great tour of the Port Authority and everything that they're doing, and there's some really exciting things. But I think since we have limited time, one of the things that I felt was a really great initiative was this whole idea that they're now putting into practice of bringing tractor trailers to that site and actually moving them by sea. And they'll be customs transferred as they're going across the lake to the port, I guess Rochester or some other port in the United States. So it's going to really help reduce the congestion at the border. It's going to save, on of course, greenhouse gas development from the diesel engines and those kinds of things. I think for us to be able to work together, they have multiple benefits to Canadians, not only in helping the Hamilton Port Authority, but also in the environment. And like I said, and just relieving some of the stress and strain at the border, and really increasing security as well.
You did mention that you had post-secondary education. McMaster University is smack dab in the middle of your riding, and MAC is looking at expanding to Burlington. From a political point of view, does that cause you any grief, or is that something you look forward to? What kind of advice could you give me as your neighbor on an additional campus that might be coming to Burlington?
Well, McMaster, originally McMaster came from Toronto, so his former Baptist University came from Toronto and is now in Hamilton, and of course they have a world-renowned reputation in a number of fields, not the least of which is metallurgical and other materials. And of course they're building the Innovation Park, and so I would be excited if I was you to have a presence of McMaster University in Burlington, and I really don't have any kind of advice other than welcome them with open arms, and it's they're a great player in the community as well as being a great player globally in welcoming international students, so that our values and principles of good government and democracy are being shared with the entire globe.
I appreciate that. It's a new experience for Burlington, and we want to make sure we're ready for it if and when it. And we're pretty confident that it will happen. We're not sure exactly where, but where it will happen. One thing I wanted to ask you about. I have 2 daughters. You have how many children do you have?
6 children.
6 kids. Just give the viewers a view of it's a big family change for you to be flying back and forth and spending the weeks in Ottawa. Give us a little idea of how that adjustment has been for your family, and what maybe you've done to overcome that adjustment.
Well, I think one of the best things for our family is that our family's gotten involved. So we try to take the kids on now, of course, government business, but even before, when we were in an electoral stage during an election, that to make sure that they're part of the process, that they don't feel left out. It does take a lot of juggling because literally half the time the house sits. So we have an apartment there in Ottawa, and you know that you have a place there. But I think that for the most part, whether it's a member of Parliament who's a mother and a wife, or in my case a husband and a father, the partner has to be on board. I can't see anybody doing this without having a partner who's fully dedicated to the public life.
Great. Well, I thank David for his time. Mr. Sweet has done an excellent job for his riding. We're both rookies, so we're both learning our way. David's a very well-spoken individual, as you can tell by this interview, and is really on top of the issues, and I really appreciate the time you spent with us today, telling us a little bit about what it's like to be a new member and working with other colleagues within the region. Thank you again.
Thanks.
I'm here with Mr. Jay Hill, who is the Chief Government Whip for the Government of Canada. His job is to make sure that members of Parliament know where they're supposed to be and when they're supposed to be. He's also been a House Leader when he was in the opposition. Mr. Hill has a tremendous amount of experience here on the Hill, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to him about what actually a whip does, and then what his expectation is of what a Member of Parliament who's on the government side should be doing. So, Jay, thank you for joining us today, and I just want to ask you, what is the role of the whip, and then what is the role of a House Leader, so the viewers back home have an understanding of that?
Well, the role of the whip is really the disciplinarian for the individual caucus. Every caucus has one. It's mandated by the not only by tradition but by the standing orders of the House of Commons. It's a role that is key to the ongoing management in the House of Commons. The whip is responsible for attendance. Obviously, it's very important that people are there for the votes, especially in a minority government situation where one or two members sometimes missing a vote could result in the fall of the government. So it's very key to know where the members are, as you alluded to in your opening comments, at all times. Not only backbenchers, but indeed cabinet ministers as well. So have to clear their whereabouts with the whip's office at all times. As well, I like to say that the whip's role is really twofold. One is discipline, but on the other hand, I'm also responsible for the morale of the caucus. Right. So if you can emphasize the latter, sometimes there's less to do with the former. And so, I mean, it's not a role that you take on lightly, but it's an extremely important role on the ongoing management of the caucus. There's many tools that the whip has. The whip is responsible for assigning seats in the House of Commons, committee responsibilities, the office space that the MP gets is all assigned by the whip's office. So the whip has those kinds of tools to ensure not only discipline but obviously morale, because you can extend carrots as well as the stick. Right. Okay. And as well, all travel goes through the whip's office to determine which members of Parliament travel on foreign delegations to conferences, this type of thing. It's all the decision that the whip makes. The House Leader, on the other hand, is primarily responsible with the agenda in the chamber. On the government side in particular, the government House Leader obviously is interested in trying to get government bills moved through the House, through the process, and then on to committee and then back and through the maze of the Parliament and off to the Senate, and hopefully one day become law. So that's the primary role of the House Leader. All of this, of course, requires ongoing day-to-day, sometimes depending on the crisis, hour-by-hour negotiation with our counterparts, because the other three parties, the opposition parties, all have House Leaders as well as whips. Okay.
Now you have years of experience, I won't say how many here, and I'm relatively new, and this show is really about what is the role of a backbench. I don't mind saying a backbench MP, fortunate enough to be on the government side. Just based on your experience, could you give me an idea, and the viewers at home, what's your expectation of what the job is for a backbench MP on the government side?
Well, of course, there's huge responsibilities that come with being a member of Parliament. All of us know that. There's only 308 people at any given time that are members of Parliament from the various four political parties. As well, we have a couple of independents as the House, as you know, Mike. The responsibilities that I look for and the obligations of a backbench MP is to be where they are when they say they're going to be there. Obviously, I put a high emphasis on self-discipline, that they're an active member of the caucus, they participate in the debates in the House of Commons, that they do their House duty when they have that one day a week where they have to be in the chamber. Those are long days sometimes. I mean, last night we sat till close to midnight here. Right. And so that's a heavy load for the backbencher to assume. As well, a big responsibility for their time in Ottawa is consumed with their committee responsibility. All of the new rookies, and you're one of them, Mike, have to serve on at least 2 standing committees. So a heavy load for them to bear, but there is a responsibility there for them to serve that time on committee and to learn those roles. And so it requires a lot of reading, a lot of study, and a lot of hard work on the part of the backbencher. And of course, over and above all that, they still have the responsibility to look after their riding and their constituent interests, and that's commonly referred to as casework. It can be as varied as helping someone with their appeal to Revenue Canada on a tax issue, to a Canada pension plan, to unemployment insurance, whatever the issue is, that if it touches on a federal responsibility, the backbench MP has to be there to look after his or her constituents. So there's a lot to the job.
Well, I'm learning that, Jay, and I just want to let the viewers know this is the first time I've been in the whip's office, so I haven't been in trouble yet since I've gotten here. But I really appreciate you taking the time, explaining what your job is, what the House Leader's job is, and what your expectations me. Thanks for sharing that with our viewers.
Well, if I could just add, Mike, I think you're doing a terrific job on behalf of your constituents, and I could only be so lucky as the whip for the government if all my backbenchers were as hardworking as you are.
I'll pay you for that later. Thank you very much.